All right, ladies and gentlemen, just a few reminders. There is no flash photography permitted while the competitors are bowling. Please set your cell phones to the vibrate mode as the competitors are pushing jet. And this final reminder, please. The area in front of the counter is considered the field of play and is for competitors and tournament officials only. Ladies, when your ladies come on, we're ready for competition. Good luck and good bowling.
Good morning and welcome back to Bowl TV for the 2016 USBC Senior Queens, coming to you live from the Orleans in Las Vegas, Nevada. I'm Aaron Smith with USBC Communications alongside Emil Williams Jr., and we'll be bringing you wire-to-wire coverage of the 2016 event, including our stepladder finals on Thursday evening. But right now we're kicking things off with the opening round of qualifying. This block will consist of 5 games. All competitors will move lanes after each game. They'll be back later today for the second round, another 5-game block. That'll be on the burn. We're competing on a 40-foot pattern this week for the Senior Queens. The volume 23.7 milliliters, and the conditioner this week is Kegel Fire. So Kegel, the official lane maintenance provider here, as well as a gold industry partner for USBC. You can see that up there on the masking unit. Kegel along with Storm, Columbia 300, and Hammer. Big thanks to them for their continued support. So we'll get you a rundown of how everything works in just a moment here. So everyone, welcome to Bowl TV. Kick back, settle in, and thanks for joining us here in Las Vegas. All right, we'll get you a quick rundown of the lineups here for game number 1. We are behind lanes 17, 18, 19, and 20 here at the Orleans. Joining us on 17 and 18, we just saw Joan Riley from Wilmington, North Carolina, leave the 245. Up on lane 17 from Los Angeles, Michelle Silver, very accomplished player. Has found a lot of success over the years and looking to claim her first Senior Queens title here. Also on the pair, Debbie Essery from Paris, Texas, along with USBC Hall of Famer Pam Buckner. Buckner captured the 1976 Queens. Is looking to add her first Senior Queens. Over on lanes 19 and 20, all the way from Australia, Robin Flynn joining us. She's looking at running down the 10-pin here on lane 19. Stepping up on 20 will be Deborah Lee from Canada, so we have a few international players here in the field. They're going to be joined by Pam Spro of Lakeland, Florida, and Lisa Wasson from Murphy, Texas. So those are our 4 to start. If you want to see who's coming to our feature pairs throughout the day, be sure to visit the Senior Queens page on bowl.com. You can find all tournament information right over there. We got, we'll have results as soon as we start getting them game by game. We have lane pairings. You can see the oil pattern there. It's all on the 2016 results and information page. So be sure to get there. Once again, bowl.com/Senior Queens, the place to be. For all information, we'll get those added here to the YouTube page as well after we get results for 1. So you can check those out. Four in a row for Debbie Essery to start things off. We were talking to her before things kicked off and maybe a little bit nervous about being on Bowl TV to start off the day, but showing no nerves here early on. Attacking this 40-foot pattern with ease. We saw a big jump in participation this year as well. So definitely exciting. The final number 70 of the top senior players through not only the country, but we are represented internationally as well here in 2016. So definitely will be exciting, and even more exciting once we get to the double elimination match play bracket. For those of you unfamiliar with the format here at Queens, all competitors will have 15 games of qualifying over the course of 2 days. We'll have round 1 and round 2 today. Round 3 will be in the morning on Wednesday. Before we cut to the top 32 overall players. Defending champion Robin Romeo already guaranteed a spot in the round of 32, but she's bowling qualifying. She can improve her position, and if she happens to fall outside of the top 32 after her 15 games, she'll automatically receive that final spot. So once again, the double elimination match play bracket will be 3-game matches with total pinfall determining who advances. And we'll keep working the field down until we get to the top 5 for the step ladder. That'll be Thursday evening right here on Bowl TV. Once again, wire-to-wire coverage of the 2016 event in Las Vegas. We are at the Orleans. Big thanks to Mike Kaufman and his staff for always taking care of us whenever we make our way to Las Vegas for these events. All right, folks, we have added the lane pairings to the description area below the video here on YouTube, so you can see who's coming to lanes 17 through 20 throughout the day, just like we're seeing them. And as soon as results come up after game one, we also have a link there, so those will get updated as scores come in. Once again, competing on a 40-foot pattern, so definitely a few options to get there. One of those medium range patterns with, so we'll get to see how players attack it. Once again, there will not be a re-oil for round number 2. Everyone bowling on one squad here. So we'll have the burn for the second squad. That'll be at 2 p.m. local time, 5 p.m. Eastern here today, right here on Bowl TV. So the top senior players be around all week. We've already got to see a few of them make their way to the USBC Women's Championships, also being held in Las Vegas at the South Point Bowling Plaza. That group includes, as I go through the roster here, like I said, we've seen quite a few already. I'm sure we'll see a few more throughout this week. A great opportunity for these ladies to bowl both. We've seen Shar Hamill a few times at the USBC Mixed. She's a past champion here, won in 2010 in El Paso. Tish Johnson, the USBC Hall of Famer, made a run in singles at the Women's Championships. Ended up 8 pins short of the number, 724 on top of the standings over there. Tish fired 716 in singles. Big 269 game to wrap things up. Got to see another Hall of Famer, Linda Kelly from Dayton, Ohio. Bowled doubles and singles a few days ago. Debbie McMullen out of Denver, along with Sharon Powers as well, coming from Colorado. Lucy Sandlin, a 2-time champion here at the Senior Queens, longtime Team USA member and USBC Hall of Famer, also made her appearance. Along with Christy Witcher and Mandy Wilson too, so a lot of these ladies have already been in town for a few days, have thrown a few games, ready to go bright and early this morning. On 19, Pam Strow, a past team champion at the women's, makes it 4 in a row. So she's cruising here in the early going. Looking around at a few of our other pairs, it looks like we might be in for a high-scoring event. Ladies liking the fresh so far. Jenny Burton Douglas, one pair to our right, off to a strong start. Just fired 5 strikes in a row. Ended up opening in the 8th, but she's still on pace for a nice start out of the gates. 246 still out there. Lilia Johnson, a contender here every year. Started with a 7 out of 8. But of course, always the new challenge coming to the next pair when you move, when you make the move. So it's all about seeing what you're seeing out there, making the right moves quick, knowing when you're making good shots, and knowing when you may not be making the best ones, and understanding the adjustments from there. Lisa Wasson just delivered the strike in frame number 9. She finished 3rd here at the 2015 event held at the Schwabenon Bowling Alley in Green Bay, Wisconsin. We had a lot of events held up in Wisconsin during the 2015 year, and Lisa made a nice run. The Senior Queens the past 2 years has been all about Robin Romeo. The Hall of Famer had the Queens title elude her for her entire career up until the 2014 event, before finally capturing her first tiara. She enjoyed it so much she decided to have another in 2015, knocking off fellow Hall of Famer Tish Johnson. She actually defeated Tish in the finals the past 2 years. Tish also looking for that first tiara to add to a resume a mile long. 25-time PWBA titleist, as Michelle Silver delivers a double in the 8th and the 9th. We mentioned Robin Flynn joining us from Australia. Actually got to see Robin here on Bowl TV late in 2015 as a representative of Australia at the World Bowling Senior Championships. That was held over at Sam's Town here in Las Vegas. All right, a quick update of who, or at least from what I can see, who will be joining us in round number 2. On 17 and 18 will be Lori Jo Turner from Wyoming, Karen Barkal from Albuquerque, Jennifer Nelson from Menlo Park, California, and Julie Harrison all the way from Australia. Over on 19 and 20, Jackie Wyckoff, past team champion at the Women's Championships, will be making her way to our featured pair, along with Debbie McMullen. Cindy Vernig Sutherland will also be joining, along with Judith LaRoe. So we'll have some new names here in Bowl TV. But still got a few shots to go here in game number 1. After delivering the double, Silver now looking at the 210. See if she can still get to 213. We'll see Lilia Johnson up on lane 16 entering your screen in just a moment. She's stepping up in the 10th with a chance to shoot 278. This will be her first shot. There she is. There she is, unable to get the 7 out. Mixes them up. 257 still available for Johnson. Michelle Silver unable to convert. She'll finish at 201. Final shot from Robin Flynn, looking to convert the 4-pin to get to 175, and she does. Lisa, a fill ball to go on 19. Get to 171 with a strike. 169 for Joan Riley. .69 for Lisa. Looking to improve on that 3rd place finish from 2015. Pam Sproul up on 20. Still getting to the 240s here. Takes care of business to kick off the 10th. Debbie Essery has bounced back nicely after the miscues in the 7th and the 8th frame. .141 for Pam Buckner. Essery can get to 243 with one more strike. And it looks like we'll actually have a different pairing coming here to our feature pairs. I was looking at tomorrow, or the round later today, not the next one. So that's what I get for trying to look ahead. Nice 238 for Pam Sproul to kick things off. 240 on the nose for Debbie Essery. There's some great starts. And Deborah Lee will have the honor of closing up game one. One more strike will get her to 225. All right, well, better there than on the first shot. So 220 on the nose for Deborah Lee, joining us from Canada. Game one in the books here on Bowl TV at the 2016 USBC Senior Queens. Maren Smith alongside Emil Williams Jr. will be here for wire-to-wire coverage of the event till we crown a champion on Thursday evening. So don't go too far. Game number two coming up next here on Bowl TV. Thanks for joining us here in Las Vegas. All right, game number two is getting going here. Joining us on lanes 17 and 18 will be Della Collenbeck and Paula Vidad, the 2011 Senior Queens champion. We'll be joined by Sharon Aronson and Joanne Herman. Aronson, a very talented player from Turlock, California. Made a Queen show a few years back. Herman joining us from Seminole, Florida. Kallenbach from Fairfield, California, and Vidad from Sun City, California. Over on 19 and 20. You see Pam Lawrence looking to take care of the 4-9, only gets the 4, so an early open for her. She's joined by Barbara Bett from Jacksonville, Florida. Also on the pair is Sue West, coming to us from California, and Yolanda Garrett from Texas. So there are our 8 bowlers for game number 2. Once again, Vidad stepping up on lane number 16, a past champion here. Always a contender. She's also been staying sharp by competing in a few of the PWBA events taking place as the 2016 season kicked off just about 3 weeks ago. Of all places, right here in Las Vegas, common theme. 2016 season kicked off at Texas Station right at the beginning of the month. We've also had stops in Rohnert Park, California, and Sacramento, all leading up to the first major of the year, the USBC Queens, taking place right here at the Orleans. That final will be televised live on CBS Sports Network on Thursday, May 26th, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. local time. So be sure to check your local cable provider for more information. And speaking of a gentleman who has spent some time at a few of those PWBA events, let's welcome Emil Williams Jr. onto Bowl TV. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Aaron. How are you?
Doing excellent. We got 70 of the top senior players, not only in the country, but in the world, joining us here. And in 2 short days, we're going to crown a champion. So a lot of excitement here, but a long way to go. We're still very early here in the 2016 event, just game 2.
Saw a couple good scores, at least in our immediate area, in game number 1. So I think expect to see some more high scores, of course, as the week progresses on. Should be certainly a fun event for me personally. Get an opportunity to see the event for the first time, so I've been looking forward to it. We've already seen some of these ladies, I'm sure, as you've just mentioned, on the PWBA tour. So another major champion to be crowned, another champion to be crowned here this week, and of course next week with the USBC Queens, and of course some PWBA champions to be crowned as well next week. So a fun 2-week stretch here at the Orleans.
The Orleans definitely a great host. We've got the opportunity to work with them quite a bit throughout the years. Team Trials has been here in the past. Done a few collegiate events here, and always a top-notch effort by their staff here. Mike Kaufman and company do a fantastic job in making these events run smoothly, not only for us, but for all these competitors as well. So top-notch facility, and a big thanks to them for all they do. Now, Emil, one of the big storylines this week, of course, you can't go to an event like this and not talk about the defending champion. And we have a two-time defending champion, Robin Romeo, USBC Hall of Famer, PWBA Hall of Famer, Women's Championships titleist. She's done everything. And she's able to make it 3 in a row. Pull a little Jason Belmonte action here with a three-peat. She'll once again add her name to another exclusive list and put herself at the top of the list for Senior Queens titles. So she's looking to match the number posted by fellow Hall of Famer Sandy Postma, the only competitor to win this title 3 times. But Robin's got a tough field. It's going to be a lot of work to do it again. There's a lot of great players out of this 70-player crew.
Yeah, you mentioned that. I mean, just the increase in the field alone adds to the level of difficulty to get the job done. But obviously an experienced player, one of the best in the world, no matter the level. And so obviously I think she is certainly ready. You check out the preview story if you haven't seen that on bull.com. Good work there from Mr. Smith, but it's something certainly to look forward to as the week progresses. Obviously she's automatically into the field, in the match play field, no matter where she finishes. If she happened to finish outside of the top 32, she would be 32nd, of course, and so on. But so we'll look at that, and then I think kind of that sub storyline might be Tish Johnson, of course, the runner-up since 2013 in this event. Should she make the finals again? If I had to give a winner in that regard, it's hard to beat someone 3 times in a row. Throw out the sports analogies, although it's a different year, of course, but when you see the same opponent for the 3rd consecutive time, that would be a matchup I'd like to see personally, just to see what the outcome would be. And I think it would be obviously phenomenal to watch 2 Hall of Famers as Tish rolls by us right now. 2 Hall of Famers.
She knew we were talking about her, so she just.
How about that?
She's got an extra sense for that.
It would be great though. I mean, we'd have Robin going for the unprecedented 3-peat, and then of course Tish trying to win after being the runner-up for 3 consecutive years. I believe she finished 4th in 2012, so to be really in the stepladder for 4 consecutive years and not have won one yet, I'm sure she's focused there.
Of course, that's the one title that has eluded her throughout the years was, along with the regular queens here at the Senior Queens, so many close calls and tough losses. It's yeah, Tish definitely a fan favorite out here, of course, but it would be just awesome to see that breakthrough performance, and something that's a long time, something she's been waiting for a long time. So once again, we'll get to see it unfold here live on Bull TV throughout the week with wire-to-wire coverage. As you mentioned, Tish already in town for the USBC Women's Championships, so put together a nice performance there. I'm sure that momentum always helpful coming into an event like this. They had a practice session yesterday for about an hour, so they got their first look at this 40-foot pattern to attempt to see what worked, what didn't, what may need a little surface, or maybe a little less surface, maybe a little polish for by the time we get to game 8, 9, and 10 later today.
Yeah, the burn squad should be interesting. And again, seeing the event for the first time, always curious when there's no re-oil. You have an idea of what may happen, but ideas are sometimes few and far between. They can be different, certainly, once you actually see what's going on the lanes.
Oh, absolutely. And yeah, with the burn, you never know what you're getting into. Obviously, There's going to be some games on this practice, and you're not going to know what necessarily everyone was doing beforehand, whether or not some people were using a little more surface than maybe you had planned on seeing, or a little less, or it's really really about adapting as quickly as possible and then taking advantage when you get to the good pairs, when you find a look right away. Can you turn that into a 230, a 240, a 250, and not squander that opportunity, end up with a 192.0 or something like that? So
versatility starts to play a role as well. You see it throughout. I mean, obviously you'll see it with these women here on the fresh, but I think on the burn, you'll start to see maybe some B games, some C games, for example. You know, some of the ladies may need to go to their B game, go to their C game, and some of them may be doing that right now on the fresh. And so the versatility certainly is key throughout the sport, being able to, as you said, adapt, adjust, and have as many tools and tricks in the bag as you can. You never know what you'll need, and that's part of being a great bowler at this level.
see a nice shot there from Della, rebounding after the open in the 5th, mixing them up to start the 6th over on 17 and 18. Paula looking for 4 in a row. Saw Paula this morning doing a little Facebook Live prior to the start. The ladies were here early today, so they were ready to start preparing. Got here about the same time as we did to start setting up the live stream, so having a little fun though beforehand. That's what it's all about. Not only the competition, but a chance to regroup and see all these familiar faces. You see a lot of the same folks out here each and every year, and it's definitely an awesome get-together. We've had the opportunity before to, when you come out to these events, usually you end up at the same host hotel as everyone, and just everyone kind of gets together. It's almost like a little reunion, a little party, and it's definitely nice to see the camaraderie out here as well, and everyone kind of rooting each other on throughout the week. All right, it looks like scores have updated, at least from what we can see here, so you may have to refresh the PDF or possibly clear out the history real quick, but we do have standings up through game number 1. Lilia Johnson, who we mentioned had a shot to shoot 278, ended up with 257, so she is the early leader here. Joining us from Lawton, Oklahoma, Michelle Carter from National City, California, sits in second with 246. Paula Vidal, 2011 Senior Queens champion, 245. So she's looking pretty comfortable here in the early going. Maria Sutphin from Maitland, Florida, is in fourth with 244. And Debbie Essery from Paris, Texas, we saw her in game 1, 240, rounds out the top 5. So definitely some scores here early on. First look at that top 30, well, technically 31 number since Robin was in is 190. So it's always tough to judge scoring pace, but definitely some impressive numbers out of the gates.
certainly one of the better weeks, cool weeks, really 2 weeks actually, and sometimes 3 depending on if some of the bowlers extend their trip past the 2 weeks to continue to bowl at the women's championships. But kind of that trifecta, if you will. This event, of course, Queens beginning this weekend, and then PWBA, of course, next week with some events, of course, as well, and then also the women's championships in the middle of that, and drawing, of course, the bowlers who will be competing throughout the week. Really a great idea to have, and then also for the local, bowlers and fans to be able to come and watch at every level.
It's definitely cool, and of course, all free of charge too. So if you're in Vegas or plan to have a weekend where you're coming to Vegas coming up here, be sure to check it out. We have, of course, we already mentioned for the USBC Queens having the live finals on CBS Sports Network on May 26th, but we also have 3 other shows getting taped that day. So for the first 3 PWBA stops, Las Vegas Open, the Nationwide Sonoma County Open, and the Storm Sacramento Open, the stepladder finals will all be taped on May 26th. So we essentially got a full day of broadcast coverage. So if you're in the area, please stop on by. We'd be more than happy to have you. Taking a look at Sharon Aronson on lane 18 as she mixes them up for 3 in a row. She made the TV show at the 2000 USBC Queens, ended up finishing 5th overall. Sharon also had a very impressive performance at the 2012 Women's Championships in Reno. Ended up with a pair of 5th place finishes in scratch singles and scratch all events. Kind of set the bar for everyone before everyone came into town for the U.S. Women's Open that year. Had a few folks run her down though. Definitely a great game, fun to watch. Emil, you mentioned what you called the trifecta, which I really liked, and some of these ladies will take advantage of that. We got the Senior Queens, followed by the Queens, and along with the Women's Championships in town, and I think that's a big reason why we got to see a increase in entries. So compared to last year for the Senior Queens, we're up quite a bit, just about 30 overall entries, so definitely a big jump here. And for the USBC Queens, we're see the biggest turnout since 2008. So of course the PWBA having a lot to do with that as well. But kind of having everything so conveniently placed here in southern Las Vegas, entertainment capital of the world. It's definitely cool to see everyone come out in a big way.
Absolutely, and I think the ladies certainly know the history of the event. They want to be a part of history, around history as well. And so when you can mix various events like we do here, the opportunity for the ladies to compete at not one but two events, and really three, of course, if they're competing here. Some of them certainly will be in the Queens, and of course, and then the Women's Championships as well. So just the opportunity for that. Great city, kind of serving as the backdrop, of course. Las Vegas, plenty to do. Obviously, plenty of things to see and enjoy. So it's a all-around great experience. Play and travel, of course. Las Vegas, one of the places that is pretty easy to get to in that regard. So everything helps in that. So kudos to the minds who came up with that great idea. Certainly not the first time it's happened, but to bring that back and put the event, Queens and Senior Queens, in the same city, of course, as the Women's Championships. It's a great idea.
That'll continue in 2017 as well, as all these events will make their way to Baton Rouge, Louisiana, at the Baton Rouge River Center. Once again, we'll play host to all three events, along with the Intercollegiate Team and Singles Championships, as well as the NCAA Bowling Championships. So a lot of excitement taking place in Red Stick in 2017. A place I know you're familiar with after spending some time out there at the Open Championships in 2012.
Great venue. Convention Center is fantastic. Just like many of the local cities that the Women's and Open Championships set up shop in, essentially, they were fantastic. Local bowlers and fans came out actually just to really just support and watch the events. Any local teams that were bowling were well dressed in purple and gold for the LSU colors. So it was always a pretty cool experience just to watch the teams bowl again and get to know some of the fans. And actually, back when I was still attempting to throw an actual bowling ball down the lane, there were some local events as well that kind of happened before the tournament and kind of right after. So it was perfect from a schedule standpoint too.
All right, game two just about done here on Bowl TV. Sue West in the books with 152. Della Cullenbach 176. Sharon Aronson can get to 216. 221 still available for Paula Vidad. Here's her first shot. Taking care of business. Yolanda Garrett looking to finish strong after an open in the ninth. She can still get to 187. It's a great shot to kick things off. Barbara Batt, 191 with the conversion of the 10 pin. We'll see if Pam Lawrence, excuse me, we just had Pam Buckner on last game after some early struggles. We'll see if she can finish off right with a few more strikes.
Paula's off to a great start.
Yeah, already plus plus 56 with the conversion here, so cruising right along.
Nice shot there from Pam. 9 pin was late to go down, had to maybe get some extra kick. It's not how you start, it's how you finish.
Absolutely. We always mention it. It's all about having a short memory in these kind of events. 15 games, definitely a lot. And once you get into the top 32, that's half the battle. All pinfall drops at that point. You're back to square one. So definitely a nice finish for her. That game could have gotten really out of hand there. Looked like she had some issues with just wasn't getting out of the ball too clean to start, and made some changes and has all the momentum.
And that's never fun when you can't get out of the ball properly like you know how and you should, and you work through it, adjust through the game, and then hopefully you get the feel that you like and be able to put some strikes up. And in this case, Pam's doing a good job. That one's got to get up. I think she'll take that 2-8 there at the end. Only to lose 30 that game. Also looks to be in a part of the lane. She seemed further right than some of the other competitors on that particular pair. So I'll look forward to seeing that particular angle and attack plan rolls as well. I like that look.
All right, Mr. Williams, game 2. All done. Game 3 coming up next here on Bowl TV. So don't go too far. We'll be right back. All right, folks, once again, this is the opening round of qualifying here at the 2016 USBC Senior Queens. We are in game number 3 out of 5 for this opening round, so we are moving right along. We'll have another block of 5 games later today, starting at 5 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. local time here in Las Vegas. We are at the Orleans Bowling Center inside the Orleans Hotel and Casino, one of my favorite places out here in Las Vegas. Quickly becoming one of Emil Williams Jr. as well, after spending some time here for the USBC convention, and now getting a second taste in just a few weeks.
Kind of channeling my inner Aaron Smith. This is the most time I've spent in Las Vegas in my lifetime. I've been here a few times, generally for a few days, bowling related or basketball related back in the day, but was just here. But it's my first time actually seeing the bowling center. Didn't get a chance to come up here during the convention week.
Definitely an impressive facility. Definitely one of the great things about Las Vegas is there's a lot of cool facilities just like this. Of course, women's championships taking place at the South Point Bowling Plaza also has a 64-lane bowling center to go along with that. So definitely got the lane beds out here in Vegas. So a lot of bowling going on. Always a big bowling town. We're excited to be here. Game 3 underway. Joining us on lanes 17 and 18, we see Penny Fetterman from Sweet Home, Oregon. Take her second shot. Leaves the 6-10. She's joined by Shelly Nell out of Silverdale, Washington. Also on the pair, Gloria Gates from Maple Grove, Minnesota. See Gloria right in the middle of the screen. She'll be stepping up on lane 18 in just a moment. She's also joined on the pair by Lynn Minning of Austin, Texas. We have our two-time defending champion, USBC and PWBA Hall of Famer Robin Romeo, up on lane 19. Left a 4-pin in the second frame. Robin is joined by Gail Smith of Discovery Bay, California. Julie Harrison of Australia, and Lori Jo Turner of Sheridan, Wyoming. Pair to our right. Another Hall of Famer in sight. Tish Johnson. Tish off to a little bit of a rough start here in game number 3. A strike in the first, back-to-back opens in the second and third, and a strike in the fourth. a Hall of Fame shot right there from a Hall of Famer. Robin Romeo delivering her first strike of game number 3. We had a chance to talk to Robin leading into this event as the defending champion. And she's been out on the PWBA tour. She's had some results that she's not terribly happy with. She's still definitely very competitive and expects to be competing with the young ladies, but she really feels that she's been able to kind of work her way into just by being around it, just by competing week in, week out, has left her really prepared for this title defense. And competing against the best in the world will definitely up your game.
Yeah, I watched many of the PWBA events last year, of course, online. Didn't see them in person, but I saw the first 2. And the competition, I'd imagine, it might even be a step up from last year, from last season, rather. And so, an experienced champion, like herself, sometimes, I think she mentioned it in a sense to sometimes you got to work your way into a rhythm to get going, make sure you're there physically, and then of course mentally it starts to click for you. It's almost like building a lather, so to speak. So no doubt those events certainly have prepared her, at least in some sense, to compete here, and then of course next week, and probably throughout the rest of the year too.
Yeah, definitely a cool opportunity with the PWBA, kind of having different swings throughout the country, if you will. So this first swing, kind of the West Coast swing, if you will, stops in Las Vegas to start, 2 in California, and then back to Las Vegas for the Queens, starting on Saturday. Then we'll kind of have a Midwest swing, if you will, center of the country, Wichita, Lincoln, Nebraska, Detroit, and Green Bay. So definitely a lot to see. Of course, the PWBA Tour can be seen on Extra Frame, the exclusive online channel of the PBA. So our partnership with them allows us to showcase all those events. And then the partnership deal, USBC has worked with the CBS Sports Network, is going to have 13 of the 14 stops televised throughout the summer. So it's a good time to be a bowling fan. Pretty much every week there's going to be something on TV, including tonight. The Intercollegiate Singles Championships will have their men's final take place on CBS Sports Network. I'm looking up the time right now because I don't remember off the top of my head, but we'll find out soon, though, as soon as this interweb cooperates. All right, the men's singles final will take place tonight at 9 p.m. Eastern. So be sure to check your local listings for CBS Sports Network. Last week's show was the women's singles portion, and that was an awesome one. Pretty much no other way to describe it. Emily Eckhoff repeated as champion and did it in dramatic fashion, making a big ball change late in the game. And then stepped up in the 10th, needing to throw the first 2. Cool, calm, collected. Looked like Robin Romeo throwing strikes like that. It was just never a doubt taking care of business. An impressive win over Morgan Brown of Fairleigh Dickinson, who bowled a great game in her own right. Just sometimes you put up a number, it's a good one, and you just have to just shake your head after, shake a hand after making some clutch shots like Emily did.
The old tip of the cap sometimes is all you can do. But definitely congrats to Emily. Forward to seeing tonight's show. In fact, both shows will be on. Of course, the men's first, and then if you did miss the women's singles, it will be following the men's. If you will not be at home or perhaps going to sleep a little early, just make sure you set those DVRs.
All right, we have an update through 2 now online. And we have our tournament leader right here on Bowl TV in Game 3. Julie Harrison of Australia leading the way, 477 through 2, 209 and 268 to get there. She's ahead of Karen Miller out of right here in Las Vegas. Karen's at 463. Paula Vidal, who we just saw, at 456 in third. Robin Romeo, our 2-time defending champion, a pair of 220 games. She's at 452 in fourth. And Tish Johnson, 449, rounds out the top 5. Once again, for those of you looking for the standings, they are available. bowl.com/Senior Queens. And you can go to the 2016 results page and click on qualifying round 1. Also, if you're scroll down on the YouTube page, in the description area below the title, there is also a link for the results in there.
Aaron, during our time on the PWBA tour thus far, we've talked a lot about the international flavor on tour and the amount of competitors who are representing several different countries, and it's still good to see that here at the Senior Queens as well. We've got several from Australia, Canada, and Mexico, just to name a few here in the field. So of course, our sport, very global as well, and I think something that many don't understand if you're not a bowling fan or someone who follows the sport. Just the global reach is very similar to other sports, and so just to see that still here prevalent is phenomenal to me.
Yeah, I definitely got a chance to see that firsthand at the World Bowling Senior Championships last August and September, and you know, the U.S. squad had all the ladies were in the field. We had Robin, Tish Johnson, Lucy Sandlin, and Paula Vidal were the foursome that made up the team, and they definitely had to earn the medals they won. It wasn't definitely wasn't a pushover, and we definitely see that, you know, for kind of on the younger side with Singapore, who's having a great showing on the PWBA tour. Both the men's and the women's teams are phenomenal. Obviously, Australia, Jason Belmonte making a lot of noise. Pretty much every country is getting well represented out there, and definitely saw a lot of great players on the senior side too, from just represented throughout the globe in that event, and definitely great to see them make the trek out here as well. So. Just saw Lori Jo Turner at the Women's Championships. She leaves the 4-pin in the 7th. Nice shot by Gloria Gates, rebounding after back-to-back opens. Sending all 10 back.
Defending champ, or two-time defending champ, solid so far this game, Mr. Smith. It's a Hall of Fame member and a Hall of Fame family.
Very, very true. Yes, that's another part of convention week is, of course, the USBC Hall of Fame inductions, and Robin got to be on the other side as you get to see her mother Joan get inducted for meritorious service. So congratulations to Joan on joining. There we go. That was tougher than I thought it was going to be to say. Congratulations to Joan and the entire 2015 or 2016 class of new Hall of Fame members. So things keep just making their way back, but Joan Romeo, a big part of that World Bowling Senior Championships as well, and helping along with that. So her help definitely appreciated, and throughout the sport she's done so much great work. So well deserved and well earned spot in the Hall of Fame. So thanks Joan for helping build a future for the sport.
Games of qualifying. Then once that bracket hits, it's a different ball game. Double elimination. Of course, you're not out of it until you're out of it. So that's the best part about the format. But it almost, to me, and having not experienced it, but anytime you're in a double elimination bracket, it doesn't matter where you lose. If you do lose, obviously you'd love to just skate on through without any blemishes on the record. But double elimination allows you to get that extra opportunity, but depending on where you lose, if you lose early, you have a long road ahead. And that could be, if that were to happen in this week, for example, that's a storyline in itself, just to climb the serious ladder from the contenders bracket. But like you said, you want to be as unblemished as possible.
Certainly so, and a little bit smaller field goes to goes to the bracket. Only 32 players, so in other events we've seen it go up to 64. So with 32, a little bit less, but definitely still. Definitely don't want to lose that first match and have to make the turnaround that way. But 3 games, once again, never know what can happen. We've seen it before, certainly at every level, of how quickly a match can turn, or a 50 or 60 pin lead can quickly vanish and turn into a deficit just like that. So it's going to be an exciting time to be a part of it all, and we'll be excited to have you join us here on Bowl TV. A big thanks once again to everyone for helping us out and showing these top players the support they deserve. We're excited to be able to bring you all this action here on Bowl TV. We'll have a recap tonight later on bowl.com. Get a few quick thoughts from our leader through 2 rounds. And of course, be sure to follow us on social media. Sport of Bowling's on Facebook, facebook.com/USBC. On Twitter @USBC. And once again, we'll mention it again, bowl.com. You can find all the information and more on the Senior Queens, bowl.com/Senior Queens. Or you can also click on the Tournaments tab at the top of the page. Scroll down to the senior events, and then you'll find it right there. We got folks joining us from all over the world here in the chat, so thanks for stopping by and tuning in and letting us know where you're watching from. It's always a good sign when we've gone international, so we appreciate the support. Emil, we're already in frame 10 here on 19 and 20. Gail Smith and Lori Jo Turner kick things off. Lori's kind of in that same area we saw Pam Lawrence in, a little more right to left, if you will. She can convert the spare to get to 169 for Gail. Conversion of the 3-pin can get her to 184 with a strike. No problem there. Pair to our right, Jackie Wyckoff in the books with 215. Tish Johnson bounced back after a few early opens. She got to 205. Lori Jo's making a ball change here for a field ball. Always a smart decision. We got the opportunity.
That extra opportunity to try something, you go ahead and do that. Adds some extra importance, of course, to the 10th frame. It's already important, certainly, but the fill shot can be sometimes make or break. Sometimes you see you throw a different ball and say, "Oh wow, that's not what I was expecting," or That's what I was expecting. So whichever one happens, of course, you take the information and do what you have to do with it.
Robin Romeo and Julie Harrison both working on a few strikes in a row to kick off the 10th frame. Robin already 1 for 1. Julie makes it up the hill, mixes them up. Gives her 5 in a row. Julie was on top of the standings after 2 games, 477. Robin not too far behind, 452. Leaves the 10 pin on her second shot. She's going to be in the 220s. .227, the final tally for Robin. She's just cruising along, shooting 220s. .219 for Julie Harrison. So we'll see if she maintains the lead after 3. Turn our attention to 17 and 18 as they start off the 10th frame. Lynn Minning takes care of the 10 pin in the 9th. Gloria Gates already a shot in. Have a question about when we'll get to see Terry Ward make it to Bowl TV. It looks like it'll actually be the second block today. That starts at 5 p.m. Eastern, 2 local time here in Las Vegas. Terry will be on lanes 19 and 20 in the 5th and final game. So it's going to be a while before we see Terry, but certainly give updates throughout the day. Through 2 games, Terry Ward was in 52nd with 343. Representing Loveland, Colorado.
Down on a couple pairs away, Aaron. Paula Vidal continuing her hot start, shot 244.
That's definitely got to feel good to have a 220, 230 look right out of the gates, especially in this type of format where you want to get as many pins as you can for these 15 games. Get them early. Gives you a chance to experiment a little bit. if you want to. I know some folks, if you got the foot on the gas and you're not getting pulled over, just keep going.
Yeah, it's no question about it. If you can get off to a great start, grab some pins, build a cushion. So if you happen to struggle throughout the day, give a few pins back, it won't hurt you as much as opposed to having to make that climb up the ladder and then having one bad game and kind of throwing things off, if you will. So that always helps, no doubt about it. Not always going to happen, but as we said earlier, when it's out there for you, you see it immediately, you got to get out and attack it.
And of course, qualifying does determine the seeding for the match play bracket. So even though all pins drop, there's got to be a little bit more confidence if you're, if you're up there in one of those top 5 spots, someone who just kind of snuck into the standings. Of course, you never know what's going to happen. 3-game match, brand new setting, everything. But yeah, definitely got to have some confidence. Penny Fetterman will lead the way on lanes 17 and 18 with a 2:03. Shelly Nell can still get to 2:02 with the conversion. Gloria Gates 190. Lynn Minning 153. And now, time for game 4. So big thanks once again to everyone for joining us here on Bowl TV for the 2016 USBC Senior Queens at the Orleans Bowling Center in Las Vegas, Nevada. I'm Aaron Smith alongside Emil Williams Jr. We still have 2 games to go of round 1 of qualifying before we take a quick break. And we'll have round 2 starting at 5 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Pacific right here on Bowl TV. We'll get you updated standings through 3 as soon as they come up, but leader through 2, Australia's Julie Harrison, who we just saw this past match. She had 477 through 2 games, a 238.5 average. But we'll let you know as soon as we have scores through 3. Game 4 coming up next. Don't go too far. We'll be right back. All right, folks, game number 4 out of 5 underway for the opening round of qualifying for the 2016 USBC Senior Queens. It's already been an exciting day so far, and just about at the halfway point of everything we have on store for you today. Round 2, once again, coming up 5 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. local time out here in Las Vegas. We are at the Orleans Bowling Center at the Orleans Hotel and Casino. I'm Aaron Smith alongside Emil Williams Jr. And we'll get a rundown of our athletes joining us here in game number 4. On 17 and 18, Australia's Jeanette Baker delivered a strike to kick things off. She's joined by Inger Bordalazzo out of Santa Barbara, California. Also on the pair, Sandy Schultz from Macomb, Michigan, along with Diana Cavins from Boulder City, Nevada. Over on 19 and 20. Carla Allsgood from Rio Linda, California is staring down the 2-4-5-7. She takes care of it. Nice spare, Carla. Also on the pair, Michelle Carter from National City, California. Also on the pair, Camille Koner from Bloomington, Minnesota, as well as Beth Owen Chipileski. Beth, a past women's championships titleist, 2-time winner, captured the singles and all events crown in 1995. Looks like we're having to get some pins reset here on 19 and 20, so that'll take just a quick moment, hopefully, and they'll be back to bowling. We do have some of the staff from the women's championships over here helping out, making sure everything gets taken care of in these situations. So Kathy Prank helping us out here, making sure everything's good to go on 19 and 20.
Yeah, nice to see some familiar faces making the trip over, making sure these bowlers, as well as those competing, of course, at South Point, are taken care of.
Jeanette Baker, one of the representatives for Team Australia at the World Bowling Senior Championships in 2015. Along with Robin Flynn, so talk about familiar faces, good to see them again.
A couple of good frames to begin things for Jeanette as well. 2 good shots. Strike 10 pin. Same thing for Diane Cavins as well. Bortolazzo will take that break. He's on the board, strike into third.
All right, and your fact of the day, Emil. Jeanette Baker is a two-time Quebeca AMF Bowling World Cup champion. Jeanette took home the title for Australia in back-to-back years, 1982 and 1983. So there's a little history from you. That was actually a tidbit passed along from Lucy Sandlin. Lucy also competing this week.
Lucy certainly would know. Knows some AMF World Cup history.
Absolutely.
A winner herself.
That was in 1976. Lucy captured the title. Scores now updated through 3. You mentioned Paula Vidal had another big game. Now she's #1 in the standings. Paula games at 245, 211, and 244 for 700 on the nose. Leads the way, plus 100 after 3. Julie Harrison drops to second. She's at 696. Robin Romeo in third, a two-time defending champion. 679 in third. Tish Johnson sits in fourth at 654, and Jackie Wyckoff rounds out the top 5 at 650 for her 3-game total. We'll peek down a few spots. Currently, it's taken a 190 average to get into the top 31, or 32 actually, I should say. So Karen Barkal of Albuquerque and Penny Fetterman of Sweet Home, Oregon, who we just saw, both at 570. So that's what it takes to make the top 32 at the moment. That'll definitely fluctuate quite a bit throughout the rest of the event, the 15 games, but early on, that's what we know.
Aaron, you've seen this event several times, of course, throughout the years. What's one of your perhaps favorite parts or memories from this event?
It's certainly had some cool opportunities to cover this event throughout the years, and each one kind of has its own special memory. Getting to see Robin Romeo win her first tiara in 2014 was definitely a very emotional moment to see what that meant to her after, I believe it was about 35 years between the Queens and Senior Queens of competing, trying to take home that title. That emotion definitely was definitely up there. My very first year, I actually didn't expect to cover the Senior Queens, and it was something that I got to do last minute and got to cover the finals. And Janine Primrose ended up defeating Hall of Famer Dana Miller-Mackey. And that was quite a match. That was a fun one to watch. Getting to see Lucy Sandlin win in 2013 at the International Training and Research Center. Also a great memory that always pops up. It's always great to have events at the ITRC, and we're fortunate enough to have the Senior Queens that year, and definitely a memorable one. Get to work that with Lucas Wiseman, so that was a good time. But I think it's a lot of this event, though, that makes it so great, is, and one of the things we already kind of talked about is just the camaraderie among all these athletes. And I mean, winning the tournament, being a part of tournament history, definitely a big part, but just having the opportunity to get to see all their fellow competitors, 2 or 3 times a year, just kind of seeing that get together. Like I said, if you walk around, you'll see them all out together, going to dinner, enjoying what establishments like the Orleans has, and maybe a little gambling, whatever they're doing for fun. They go out, they have a good time too while they're out there. So I think that part's always awesome. And like I said, just getting to see a few of the familiar faces yesterday during the practice session and getting to talk to them and see how they were doing. That's what makes this tournament special, is just the people involved.
And 20 had some scoring changes early on, so they are just completing the 4th frame, but Beth Owen Chipileski looking solid so far. Double early, spare than another strike. He's thrown some good shots so far, at least on this pair, looking to produce a big game.
Beth is another one we already saw at the Women's Championships earlier in the week, and so it's already had a few games in the books here in Vegas, so what I would call tournament sharp, so that's definitely take that momentum and bring it here.
Nice shot there from Carla Allsgood on lane 19. Again, this is game 4, round 1 qualifying, 2016 Senior Queens. (17 and 18, 19 and 20). The featured pair here at the Orleans. Lane 17, Sandra Schultz stepping up. Sandra clean through 7. Back 5 would give her a 248. That A-frame shot is high. She'll leave the 610.
This is one of those opportunities, though. We kind of talked about it earlier when you catch a look, being able to turn it into a 230 or 240. So for Sandra, 230 still out there. Big 9th and 10th frame. And she's hovering right around that number right now. So right around, actually a little bit above, but once again, all the pins you can get early on, the better. Definitely might get a little tricky on the round 2 for the burn, because you just never know. That was a stubborn 7-pin that was really, really stubborn before finally falling. Got to cooperate. Come on, 7-pin. Beth makes it a double in the 6th and the 7th. Delivering the combo on the 7th and make it happen. Carla crosses over for 3 in a row.
Look here, Aaron, at Michelle Carter, currently in 8th. She's playing them a little bit left to right, a little bit more inside than some of the women we've seen, and having success so far. I'm not sure, of course, where she began. This is game 4, so did not see her early on. But already kind of looking ahead in my mind to next squad and seeing that potentially could be an advantage for her.
I could not agree any more with what you just said. That's definitely one of the higher rev games that we've seen out here so far. And yeah, after this pattern has seen 7, 8, 9 games, that's just going to happen for the right-handers. They're going to have to move left and to find that to find the oil to get through the heads, get the ball to read the right way. And yeah, Michelle can rev it up there. So definitely see that as an advantage as the day goes on, especially if she's thrown it well. And yeah, she might be one of the players that gets stronger as the day gets later. Can certainly see that. But definitely is a test of versatility. You mentioned that earlier, and yeah, you definitely have to be prepared for the A game, the B game, C game. Find whatever way you can to get the ball to do what it needs to knock over all 10 repeatedly, or at least leave yourself makeable spares throughout to put yourself in position to advance.
And that's what these 15 games are about. Of course, 5 this round, 5 after the break, again, on the burn squad, and then tomorrow morning, 5 more. But it's about putting yourself in position. You can't win the tournament within the first 2 days. You cannot. But to have an opportunity to win the tournament, you have to be in the top 31. Of course, with Robin Romeo receiving an automatic slot into the match play portion. So this is what this is about.
All right, we'll get a look at Michelle Carter here. Frame number 8, working on 3 in a row. That big backswing, brings it back and gives the 10 a wiggle.
That was a good shot, and if there's any issue, it would be carry, of course, and that's really something you can't control completely, obviously. You can do what you can to help yourself, and if that's a slight hand adjustment, again, mentioning whatever tools that you know that then can help your individual game to help knock the pins down, but sometimes you just throw it too good, if that's a thing.
That'd be a good problem to have. We're getting another score correction on 17 and 18, but that might be the weirdest looking big 4 I've ever seen. I don't think that's correct, but we'll see about it there. Just had some pins moving around or something, or didn't catch it when it happened, but
Any of the pairs around us finishing up, especially those to our left, making the walk for game 5, final game of round 1 coming up.
all right, 10th frame for Sandra Schultz, working on a strike. Runs a tad high, leaves the 4. She can still get 216. Nice cover by Bordalazzo. Fortunately, just a rough game here in game 4, but still has 11 to go, so certainly weathered the storm from one bad game.
Yeah, things can change in the afternoon. Get lined up, make up some pins, and find yourself near or in that cut number.
I believe we're waiting on a ball return on 19 and 20 at the moment. .216 for Sandra Schultz. Clean effort in game 4. One pair to our right, Karen Barkal of Albuquerque putting together a nice 224. She was one of 2 ladies at the cut number for 32 after 3, so that should help. Puts her at -6 overall through 4 games. Diana Cavins can still get to 166. Ball change on the fill for Jeanette Baker. Just couldn't find the right look on this pair. Finishes with 149. .164 the official final tally for Cavins. Looks like we have bowling balls in 19 and 20, so we're back in business.
It's a little mini break there, of course, on 19 and 20, and so now hopefully that doesn't affect the players too much. Just kind of getting out of rhythm.
Yeah, definitely tough to sit around for a few extra moments and just gotta stay loose and keep the muscles moving. You never know what's going to happen in between games or during a game, if you will. We're going to go ahead and get started for Game 5 on 17 and 18. Heidi Pagankoff will start things up for us. Heidi coming to us from Linwood, Washington. She's bowling with Terry Steins. Terry's from San Jose. Past team champion at the Women's Championships back in 2012. And their third is Ann Swan from Wilmington, North Carolina. We'll see Ann's first frame in a moment here. 10th frame underway on 19 and 20. Beth Owen and Chipolesky leaves the 2-pin. She can still get to 215. I'll get her closer to the correct side of plus. 558 after 3 games. Carla Allsgood still has 192 available. One pair to our right, Lucy Sandlin, the Hall of Famer. Looking to keep things going. Lucy's at 820 after 4 games. Lilia Johnson also on that pair, 805.
That was a good ball change from Beth. That fill shot in the 10th frame. Clearly a great player, of course. A 170, a couple 190s, a 170 game, and then a nice clean 215. Looking forward to seeing how she finishes up here in the 5th game. Nice conversion, 3-6-9-10 for Michelle Carter in the 10th frame.
Never a fun one to shoot at.
Not at all. Keeps her clean. Strike will give her 212.
Game 4 all done on 19 and 20. Game 5 coming up next. Already in Game 5 on 17 and 18. And then all these competitors will have a little bit of a break in between before returning to the lanes at 2 p.m. local time here in Las Vegas. That's 5 p.m. Eastern. Here on Bowl TV. So after today, we'll have a pretty good idea of what the standings are looking like. We'll have 10 of 15 games of qualifying in. All right, let's get a rundown of our lineups on 19 and 20. We have Candace Dalton of Temecula, California, and Christy Witcher of Belfair, Washington. Being joined by Karen Miller and Shar Hamill, both of Las Vegas. Shar, of course, 2010 Senior Queens champion. She knocked off a defending champion. She claimed her title back in El Paso, defeating Janine Primrose, the 2009 champ, in the finals. To claim the title. halfway through game number 5 on lanes 17 and 18. Ann Swan of North Carolina leading the way after a early miscue is delivered on her last 3 shots. She'll be stepping up on 17 to looking to make it 4 in a row. Nice shot from Christy Witcher, bouncing back after splitting the first. Christy always a contender out here at the Senior Queens, all the senior events. Also past team titleist at the Women's Championships.
It's Barrett just the pair to our right, 21 and 22. That was Lilia Johnson making the 210.
Definitely, once again, you know, those things, they add up over time. We just had it at the Open Championships in team all events. Of course, the marathon over there, 45 games, the combined totals of everyone. And the team that currently holds the lead out of New York had a 710 conversion in there, and they just snuck past the number that was leading. So, once again, if that 210 ends up, I think for Lilia, she's already on a good pace, so you never know what can happen in these last 10 games, but maybe that's an extra spot or 2 in the standings, or it gets her on a different side of the bracket. You just never know. There's so many variables to an event like this, which may help or hurt along the way. You never know. You know, with the bracket being the way it is, with 16 on each side, there's certainly a possibility where you could have a bracket with a Lucy Sandlin and a Tish Johnson and a Robin Romeo all on that same side, and all of a sudden that's a tough bracket to get out of. But definitely part of the excitement, what makes it so cool. It makes winning it even that more special. Standings are now updated through 4 games. Once again, we have a new leader. So we've had a new leader each game so far. Robin Romeo, our defending champion. I don't think she wants to be the 32 seed. I think she wants to bowl against the 32 seed. She's leading the way. Games of 228, 224, 227, and 225. That's pretty consistent on her way to a 904 total through 4, 226 average, plus 104. Paula Vidal drops to second, 882. Julie Harrison 1 spot behind at 881. Tish Johnson sits in fourth, 869. Karen Miller, who's on our feature pair, sits in fifth at 854. We'll go a few spots further down. Char Hamill, also on our feature pairs, 839 and sixth. Michelle Carter, who we just saw, is in seventh, 836. Jackie Wyckoff is in eighth at 831. Sharon Aronson in ninth at 821. And Lucy Sandlin rounds out the top 10 at 820. So definitely still a lot of room for moving around there. Number for 32nd still stays at that 190 average, so minus 40. And Terry Steins. So we have all these folks in our feature pair. Terry at 760 through 4.
I think our next squad, of course, after the break on the burn will, of course, really determine and give us the possibly the best idea of what the cut line will be, because you don't know what the scoring pace, what the burn squad will produce. So once you get a few games into that and see how the women adjust and how things go next squad, you'll get an idea of obviously what's needed, of course, for a Wednesday morning, but from a scoring pace standpoint, where the cut line might probably be on Wednesday.
It is, when you think about it, from how quickly the tournament progresses, even though when we look at now, 15 games is a lot of games. But all of a sudden, you got your first 5 on the fresh out of the way. You really don't know what you're getting yourself into on the burn. And then all of a sudden, depending on how that goes, all of a sudden you only have 5 games left to make your move. So it's definitely something where you kind of got to gauge the emotions, gauge what you see, and especially for that fresh block tomorrow, obviously everything you learned here in these first 5 games, apply it to that and then execute the way you know you can.
Yeah, bowling is really just, especially when you're bowling tournaments and anything specific as this, always gathering information. You're always learning, especially when you will bowl on, in this case, the fresh again tomorrow morning. So you're gathering info and taking mental notes, and in certain cases, writing those notes down. I know some carry notepads and notebooks and stuff to make those type of notes, pair-to-pair adjustments, and what may have worked. So again, the unknown later today, but then the game plans kind of get refocused, perhaps. They get some more knowledge to tinker a little bit with what did work, or perhaps what did work, and really go at it on the fresh. And as you said, with 5 games left at that point, it's going to work well for some, and then some maybe not so well also. Teetering on the cut line, firmly in the cut, or trying to make the move further up the standings to bypass certain individuals. For example, you gave that makeshift nightmare side of a bracket. And so, you start to maybe game 3, 4, 5 tomorrow, which would be 12, 13, or 13, 14. Look at the projection screen and say, oh, this person's in this seed, this person's in that seed. That's not the side of the bracket I'd rather be on, so to speak. So tomorrow will be certainly fun as well, interesting at the end of qualifying before match play.
I think you bring up a great point with the notebooks here, and I see a few of the competitors, and I know Lucy Sandlin is very adamant about always having a notebook on hand, and that was a big part of what helped her in 2013 capture the title. The ITRC, definitely an intimate gathering place, if you will. Just usually only 14 lanes in use, so when they hit that championship pair, Lucy had her notes, and she knew that she was playing them a little bit differently throughout the week, and made that adjustment, and from there took care of business. So it was definitely a cool little story to hear. And of course, I hear all this stuff. Do I apply it to my own game? I don't, because I enjoy being mediocre. But yeah, there's always so much you can learn from these events. Just not what everyone can see on camera, but what we get to see off range, if you will. So that's a perfect lead into, once again, remind everyone tuned in, if you're in the Las Vegas area over the course of the next 10 days or so, be sure to swing on by the Orleans. It's free of charge to check out the action. And of course, the big finale on May 26th, we'll have 4 TV show tapings. One of them will be live for the finals of the 2016 USBC Queens. That'll be at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. local time out here in Las Vegas. We'll also have the stepladder finals of the PWBA Las Vegas Open, nationwide PWBA Sonoma County Open, and the PWBA Storm Sacramento Open, all taking place on May 26th. It's essentially a full day of TV finals, with the Queens show airing that day, and then the other shows airing on CBS Sports Network on June 7th, 14th, and 21st. So once again, USBC and CBS Sports Network working together to bring you 23 shows throughout the summer of 2016. Including 13 stops from the PWBA Tour. Terry Stein's about to start the 10th frame here in the finale of round number 1. And as we mentioned, she was the number for the cut through 4, and this game not going the way she had hoped. She'll get a quick break to reassess and prepare her plan to make a run at the top 32. And Swan can still get to 201 with 3 in the 10th.
We always say, of course, behind the scenes, essentially watching how quickly the games seem to go by. But, of course, not always the case when you are the competitor.
That's true. A rough block sometimes does seem like it's everlasting. I've certainly been there, and I'm sure you have as well. Probably less often than I have, but just when I don't know, when that day just doesn't get off on the right foot, and just nothing makes sense, and all of a sudden it's 6 games of How did I get here?
Practice.
Then yes, that's
six
the
games of practice.
and that's the next move after that. Practice, reassess, get back on it.
And these formats just allow the brain to reset because of the break. Get some fuel, of course, some form of energy, food, relax for a little bit, and then come on back as Linda Kelly gets a break there off on lane 16 in the 10th frame.
Little Hall of Fame love tap on the 6. It's definitely going to be interesting in the next block. I feel we've said that quite a few times, but to see the players who can take advantage and get left, begin to open up this 40-foot pattern. So that's what it started as today, and it certainly has a much different look now that practice and 5 games have been thrown on all of our pairs.
Yeah, I think at this point, as of course the ladies are finishing up, and some of them are finished further down to our left. You take note of where they're playing here as they finish game 5. And you would think, of course, they would start in that particular zone and continue to migrate left or. And there's some good bowlers out here, so the move doesn't have to be left all the time. It very well could be right for some. I've seen that in the past. I'm sure everyone has seen that where, you know, there's certain players who can make certain things work that others can't. And, you know, sometimes that's the difference. Just being able to do different things and play different areas even when the pattern may say you shouldn't do that. But sometimes you're just that good.
That's true. Yeah, the rule of 31, if you will, usually comes into play. Take the you take the distance of the patterns to track 31, and that's that should be the break point. But that's once again only a guideline, though. You never know what you're going to see depending on the wear and tear of the particular house that you're at, the topography of the lanes, whatever it may be. Of course, the characteristics of the pattern, equipment choices, so many decisions go into how we got here.
Karen Miller's having success, still playing relatively right. Around that 8, 9, 10 area. We have seen some bowlers start to move a little left. Ball crossing at 12, 13 in some cases. I've seen some players get a little further left than that. But not have too much success, and I think that was just because, from what I saw, balls would surface when you tend to get past 15 or 15 and left. Essentially, didn't really seem to want to pick up down lane. They want to seem to see the friction at all. So I think that'll be key, of course. If you're going to move left, where is the friction and how do you get to it? Get deeper into that conversation, of course. Where do you want to see the ball pick up? At what point? in the mid lane. Do you want it to see it pick up in the mid lane, or do you not? Do you want it to skate past the mid lane and only see the end of the pattern? And you know, some of those variables we talked about, that the unknown, based on what you see from pair to pair.
Certainly so, and each player has their preferences of how they want to see that ball get down the lane and get to that point. And same thing with equipment choices.
That shot for Karen there was about to be 11-12 at the arrows.
She's got a little bit more ball speed than a few of our other players this week, and I think that's definitely going to help her stay right.
It's a big spare here. 2-5 is, of course, makeable, but at the same time, and probably the same amount, choppable.
Very, very choppable. I like that word.
She converts it. That's probably not a word.
We just made it one, though.
Well, we want to give people the correct language. You can't just be making up stuff.
Sure we can. We're the ones on the air.
That's fair. Nice spare for Karen. Walked in as well and a little high. She'll leave the 6-10 to 11 for Karen Miller. Good game there.
That's a great way to come out of the gates, though. So that'll put her at plus 65. So she's averaging 210 plus. So staying out of trouble. Definitely has to give her some confidence heading into second block. Nice shot by Christie.
And just off to our left, you see Beth Owen Chipaleski. I made note of the ball change she made on the fill shot during game 4 on 19 and 20. She had a real clean, nice clean 215, if I'm not mistaken. And she has now gone over to 13 and 14. She's got the last 6 in a row, can make it 7 here with a strike. Second shot in the 10th frame with said ball from that ball change. Good shot. Probably just a hair inside of target, leaves a 4-pin. So she has come up with a couple of good games here to end things.
Yeah, that's definitely a nice finish. That'll put her on the right side of plus. That's a quick jump up the standings too. So only had about 20 players 200 or better heading into this final game. So big jump. Final shot from Char Hamill, our 2010 champion here at the Senior Queens. Delivers a strike for 181, and just like that, Mr. Williams, our first qualifying block is done here at the 2016 event on Bowl TV.
There you have it, just like that. It was fun. It was a good first round. I think we've got a sense of course, some of the leaders, and that's just from straight statistical standpoint, but where players may play coming up next in our round 2 this afternoon on the burn. Of course, no re-oil, so they will continue to play on the pattern that they just bowled 5 games on, and then watch the continuous transition of the day, of the lanes, and then watch the players individually kind of figure it out, kind of stay in it mentally and physically as we head to tomorrow. So lots more to take place and lots more to see, and more good games ending down on 13 and 14. As Deb Lee trying to finish her day out strong as well.
We saw Deb in game number 1. Had a nice start. She's going to be in the 2 teens this game. But that will wrap up round number 1 for us here. So once again, a big thanks to everyone for joining us here live on Bowl TV from the 2016 USBC Senior Queens. We're at the Orleans Bowling Center in Las Vegas, Nevada. And we'll be back, so don't go too far away from your computer. Round number 2 of qualifying will be taking place at 5 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. local time here in Las Vegas, so just about under 3 hours, so have a nice little break. These players, as well as these broadcasters, will grab a quick bite to eat, rest up, and get ready for round 2. So join us here on Bowl TV, youtube.com/Bowl TV. Be sure to tell your friends you're watching, your favorite players, and we'll see you soon. So until round 2 at 5 p.m. Eastern, we'll see you then. Take care. We'll see you later today.